zero idea how to do your makeup, but you want to learn how to do something like this is the video for you. I'm gonna tell you guys everything you need to know step by step in order to get your makeup to look like this. This is makeup made easy because learning how to do your makeup does not have to be difficult. I touched on skin prep a little bit in some previous videos, but I'm gonna do it here for you guys today. I'm going in with the Rhode Glazing Milk. I forgot that I even owned this and I just decided to start using it again. It's gonna be a your skin but better kind of look. This is not soft glam or full glam. I always say skin prep is the most important thing. If you feel like your makeup's just not turning out how you want it to, it probably has to do with your skincare routine, how you're prepping your skin, all of that. So check out my previous video about that. The Astra Ado Barrier Cream. You guys, like, I can't even, a little bit goes a long way. That's my baby. Really want your skin prep to sit. Normally this is the part where I do my eyebrows. I already put in some eyebrow gel. This is the Kosas Brow Pop Nano. We're going to talk about primers. You're going to see primers that are water-based and silicone-based. So for example, things that are smoothing, pore filling, they're going to be silicone-based. Things that are hydrating tend to be more water-based. Also, things that are gripping tend to be more water-based. I've noticed, like Milk Hydro Grip, etc., etc. Things like Smashbox or anything that is pore filling, smoothing, blurring tend to be silicone based. You get oily or even just love a matte base, this is something you would want to include in your skin prep. I was actually on a call with Danessa Myricks where she told us how to use all of her products to get the perfect base, which was so interesting, so informative. Dry skin, oily skin, whatever the case may be, she said you can use this, especially if you love a matte look. It's going to prevent your skin from creating excess sebum, so you're not going to get oily. Another amazing thing she mentioned and to know about primers is that you can mix them. You don't have to use one all over your face if you do not want to. Get oily in your T-zone, put a oil control primer, and then if you get dry everywhere else, you can put a hydrating primer. Water powder serum would be something that she includes in her skin prep. This is not sponsored. Danessa Myricks just makes amazing products. Some of us on the call were dry skin girly, so we asked her if we could use this and she said absolutely. So any areas that you don't want to be dewy or you don't want excess shine, put the water powder serum. Only is this going to hydrate your skin, it's going to give you a glow, so she recommends to use this obviously as a primer. This is the Yummy Skin Glow Serum. I'm just gonna put the rest of this all over my face. If you have any problem areas that you really want to cover that you don't want to cover with foundation, put on a little bit of concealer. Put a little bit of concealer right there and let that dry down. I'm just going to apply a little bit of this to my face, and biggest rule of thumb I would say is less is more. You can always add more if you want to. I'm just gonna buff this out. I'm doing tapping motions. You're not going to swipe because that's going to give you streaks, especially if you're using a brush. If you don't want to use a brush, you can always use a sponge. So we're going to talk about what the difference is between contouring and bronzing. I like to do both sometimes, but you can do one or the other depending on what you want your makeup to look like. These are examples of a good contour. Contour tends to be more cool tone to mimic the shadows of your face. This is what's going to give you that snatched look if that's what you're going for. So I like to put it right in my cheekbones. Same thing with your nose if you want it to look smaller. Bronzer is more warm toned and it's going to give you that sun-kissed look. So I like to put that anywhere I feel like I would naturally get a tan and the sun would sun-kiss me. Horrible explanation, but you guys get what I'm saying. Put it around the perimeter of my face. I like to put this high up on my cheekbones as well. So contour is for snatching and mimicking those shadows already on your face, and then bronzing is for adding warmth. Everybody's face shape is going to be different, so you have to find what works for you, but this is just a general rule of thumb. I like to blend these up. Don't blend them down because that'll just drag your face down. Just blend them up. I'm going to use Morphe Beach Bonfire for my cream blush today. And you just want to apply this to the apples of your cheeks. I like to bring it a little bit underneath my eyes, just for when I put on my concealer, it blends seamlessly. Since I'm going for makeup that's not too heavy, I'm not going to use a super heavy concealer. This is the one from Kosas. This is their Revealer Concealer. I'm just going to put the slightest bit. And like I said, you guys can always add more if you need more. Like for my face to look really snatched, so I apply my concealer towards the outer corner of my eye up at an angle. Here's what you're gonna do with your concealer. You have to figure out what you want to use it for. Today I'm using it to conceal whatever I have going on underneath my eyes, but you can also use a brightening shade, okay? So this is gonna be my first shade. I'll tell you to get one brush. It's gonna be the Real Techniques 402 brush. I talk about this all the time. It's my baby, my pride, and my joy. Okay, so I'm gonna blend out my concealer. Again, if you're using a brush, don't swipe, just pat and tap. I'm gonna use this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer to just add brightness right at the inner corner of my eyes. Don't take anything brightening too far out on your face, because where it is the brightest, that's where it's going to draw the most attention to your face essentially. So now that we have all of our creams on our face, to make your makeup last, always do creams and then powders. So now we're going to set our face with essentially the same things we put in cream. We're going to put that on our face in powders. I'm going to use this Hourglass Veil setting powder just because I feel like it does not dry out my under eyes. I'm going to make sure that my under eye is blended completely out. There's no creases. Before I set it, I load up my Dion Cosmetics powder puff with my setting powder, and then I go in and I set. And I don't bake. See, when it's not set and when it is set, like it's a completely different vibe. This is such an oldie but a goodie Benefit Hoola bronzer. I'm just gonna take some of this and put this anywhere I put the cream bronzer. So I really like to focus it right here. This also will help give the blush a seamless blend as well. I'm taking the Beach Bonfire powder blush from Morphe. I'm gonna tap off the excess. My Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, I love this. It just really melts my makeup into my face. So I'm just gonna spray this. I'm going to take this Milk mascara and do a little bit of bottom lash mascara. I went ahead and did my lip combo, but this is the finished in-depth base routine. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys learned something new. If you guys need me to break down what brushes I used or anything like that, please just let me know. I also want to do an in-depth video of like a soft glam and then maybe a full glam, so let me know if that's something you guys would like to see. But follow me for more makeup tips and videos like
this. This video is for makeup beginners. If you're not a makeup beginner, keep scrolling. We're gonna go over something that's super confusing for a lot of people: foundation, concealer, and powder. Most people start with foundation. If you're washing your face and applying this immediately, you already messed up. You have to have some kind of skin prep. So I use a moisturizer and then my SPF. Make sure to apply some moisturizer under your eyes as well, or eye cream, whatever you like. Apply one pump to the back of your hand. You can use a brush or a sponge to apply, both are correct. We're gonna pick up some product and you're going to start applying it to the center of your face. Usually the center of your face needs the most coverage. With a brush, you're going to do little downward painting motions. I'm going around my under eye area because this is where I'm gonna apply concealer. Make sure to bring the foundation down your neck to blend everything seamlessly. And I need the least coverage on my forehead, so with whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to apply some there. You want to start off with one pump and then add more if you need to. On this set, I'm going to show you with a beauty blender. I personally prefer a brush because I feel like it absorbs less product than a blender. I think a beauty blender will give you a more natural finish. This is beauty blender, this is brush. I did my cream blush and bronzer off camera. If you want a tutorial on this, let me know. But now it's time for concealer. A concealer is like a super concentrated foundation. So I'm going to apply this on any spots the foundation didn't get. Any really dark acne spots and redness around my nose. I want this to blend seamlessly in with my foundation, so I'm taking the same brush I used for my foundation. You can see how well that covered everything. I'm also using this to cover up my dark circles. I like to focus it on the darkest part of my under eyes. To blend this out, again, you can use a sponge or a brush. You just want to do little tapping motions. Do not drag. For the outer corner, I'm going to angle it upwards. This just works to kind of lift the face. Okay, now everything is covered. My face looks flawless and I'm ready to go. Wrong. If you leave your house like this, your makeup will not last. You have to set all your work with powder. You can use a loose powder. I love this one by Huda Beauty, or a pressed powder. I love this one by NYX. Either one works, but I'm going to be using my loose powder today. I like to start setting with the most important part, which is the under eyes. You can see without powder, my concealer is already creasing. I'm taking one of these little powder puffs and I'm going to pick up some powder. Tap off the excess on the back of your hand. Right before applying it to my under eyes, I'm going to blend out all those creases. You want this under eye area as smooth as possible before setting it with powder. I'm going to apply my powder with little tapping motions. I'm going to set the rest of my face the same way. Tapping off the excess of powder prevents any cakey look. This side is set with powder, while this side is not. Powder mattifies that oily look and is going to keep your makeup on for hours and hours. This is the final result. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you like this video and what other tutorials you want to see next.
If you are new to makeup and you get overwhelmed on what order you should apply the products, then this video is for you. So the first step is primer. Make sure you apply that all over the face and let that set in just for a few seconds before going in with any other product. Next is foundation. So I like to apply with my fingers and rub it in just to warm it up and give it a more natural look, and then go in with the sponge. Now go in with concealer, and I like to place it in the inner corner and outer of the eye just to give it a more lifted look, and blend that out using a beauty sponge. Now taking translucent powder, I like to focus this under the eyes just to set that concealer. Now to set the foundation, I take a pressed powder and apply it all over the face. Now I do want to warm up the face a bit, so I'm taking some bronzer and just applying it in these areas, which are the cheekbones and the forehead. Now adding in some blush. And lastly, setting the face using some setting spray. And this is the completed look.
We're going back to the basics. If you have no idea where to start with makeup, you don't really know anything about it, this video is for you. I'm gonna give you guys all my tips and tricks and information just so that you know exactly what to do and where to start. First and foremost, you have to know your skin type. If you have seen even just one of my videos, you should know that I have a very, very dry Sahara Desert type skin. Essentially, there are 4 skin types. You have oily, normal, combo, and then dry. Just like skin on your body, if it's dry, you want to moisturize it. So when it comes to doing makeup, you have to make sure you're moisturizing your skin if you want your makeup to look good. When it comes to oily skin, that usually means that you produce a lot of oil throughout your skin. So you usually want to try and control that and take away the oil because oil can break apart makeup. If you have the normal skin type, it just means it's not overly oily or overly dry. If you have combo skin, it means that your skin is sometimes oily and sometimes dry. Usually depending on the area of your skin, a lot of people are oily in their T-zone, which is right here, like on your nose and on your cheeks. No matter your skin type, you must moisturize your skin before makeup. Another thing I feel like a lot of people don't understand is what is primer? What's the purpose of it? Do I need it? Let me explain. Just like when you paint a house, you put down a primer on the walls to make sure that the paint sticks and stays and looks good. It's the same thing when it comes to priming your skin for makeup. There's gripping primers, there's smoothing, blurring primers, there's glowy primers, there's just hydrating primers. Really, the type of primer you use is going to depend on your skin type and your preferences and your needs. In my personal opinion, a primer is always a good thing to have. It goes on before any type of makeup, foundation, anything. You always put the primer first. This is a little tip I'm throwing in there. If you're confused on how to use any type of face milk, it is literally just liquid moisturizer. Put it on before you put anything else on and you'll be totally good for makeup. Your eyebrows are most likely going to be sisters, not twins, and honestly, sometimes they're cousins, not even sisters. If they don't look exactly the same, it's totally fine. That happens to literally every single person who does makeup. When it comes to the base of your makeup, there are so many options out there, so let me tell you a few. You have glowy filters, you have serum skin tints, you have regular skin tints, you have foundation, you have SPF skin tints. There are so many types of foundations out there, or what you would put on first as your makeup. Ultimately, it's up to you, whatever's best for your skin type and whatever type of finish you like, that's what you should choose. As far as any type of filter type of product goes, you apply it underneath your foundation or you can mix it with it. It's really honestly up for preference, which is why makeup is so customizable. After the type of filter, I like to go in with a skin tint. That is totally up to you, but I'm using the Supergoop one in the shade 26W. This is like an SPF skin tint, so it has skin protectant in the actual skin tint. When it comes to deciding if you want to wear a foundation, a skin tint, a tinted SPF, or a tinted moisturizer, any of those types of things is ultimately going to depend on your needs and your skin type, which is why we talked about skin types at the beginning of the video, because if somebody had told me years ago that I had dry skin, I would have never bought the products that I did and wasted so much money. Knowing your skin type really helps when it comes to determining how best to do your own makeup for your skin. There is a difference between bronzer and contour. Let me show you. Typically, bronzer is more warm toned and contour is a more cool tone type of shade. And using a contour shade, you're going to use it to provide dimension to your face and to sculpt it. Just like that, we just created a shadow with a color and gave me cheekbones. Whereas bronzer typically warms the face up and provides a little bit more of a sun-kissed type of glow. Side of my face is more warm. This side is more cool tone and sculpted, if you can see the difference. Should I contour or should I bronze? Up to you. I like to do both just because I like to sculpt my face and then make it warm. But if you want to do either or, that's fine too. Creams first, powders second. Almost always, especially starting out as a beginner, you want to do all of your cream or liquid products before you ever put any type of powder on your face. Ultimately, it is up to you how you apply your makeup, but I will let you know if you try to mix creams and powders, you're going to end up with really patchy makeup. So as a safe rule, just apply all of your creams and liquids first and then go back in, apply all of your powders to set all of those creams. That's kind of the purpose of powder blushes versus cream blushes. Same thing applies for all other type of makeup products that have a cream version and a powder version. Another reason you should apply all of your creams first is because it allows for a more beautiful blend. If you struggle with creases or notice crepey lines underneath your eyes, stop using so much concealer. You don't need that much. I don't care how bad you think your under eyes are. Do not apply a ton of concealer, and especially don't apply it right underneath your eyes. Apply it a little bit further down and you won't deal with that as much. Loose powder or pressed powder, I use both. I like to use this to set my entire face, whereas I like to use the loose powder to set underneath my eyes. This tends to set a little bit better than this one. This for me usually causes less creasing than a foundation powder. Baking and setting are kind of the exact same thing, except baking, you typically just leave it on there and then wipe it off for a little bit longer than you do setting your under eyes, but it's kind of the same thing, and I know that's a common misconception. Those are all my makeup tips and tricks I have for a beginner. If you have any more questions or any other information you want to learn about makeup, let me know, and I would love to make a separate video for that. I love you guys. Bye.
It's 2024 and you still don't know how to do your makeup? We can't have you looking ugly out here.
on my watch.
We're gonna start off with moisturizer because it's the most important step. Prep your face. You guys want your makeup to last all day, but you're not prepping the skin. Little bit of this, little bit of that. Just go in and rub it in. 2 seconds. Eye cream. I like using eye cream because it makes my under eye concealer last all day. Next, I'm going in with some primer. I don't know where you guys got this idea of rubbing the product into your skin when you're supposed to pat it. Pat, 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 pat. And then you're gonna wait 30 seconds like it says on the product. Now for foundation, you don't need that much product. Get yourself a brush and you're just gonna pat it into your skin and avoid your under eye. I didn't even use that much product and look at how much I already covered. Next, we're gonna go in with some concealer. You don't even need that much. I usually use like a dot. I feel like that's enough coverage. And then I put some on my chin as well and on my nose for some contouring that we're gonna do. And then I like a bright under eye. I'm gonna use a lighter concealer. I'm going in and contouring my face. Get your forehead as well. And then I get my nose. Then I use some spray just to refresh my face. I'm gonna start blending it all out, and you wanna start by the edge first. If you want nice results, you're gonna have to have patience with your makeup. See how I'm lightly patting? That's really what you wanna be doing. Blend out the chin as well. As you start to learn how to do makeup, you're gonna learn about what works on your face and what doesn't, and that's why practice is key. I'm just blending out the contour. The reason I like to blend out my concealer first and then my contour is because it just melts into each other properly. And before moving on to my nose, I just like doing final touches. And now I'm just blending out my nose contour. The reason I bring the product up to my brow is because it makes it look like I have a smaller nose. Right now I can't afford fillers, so makeup is just the next best thing. Because I have oily skin, I like to use a pressed powder before my setting powder so that my makeup just lasts all day. Next, I'm just going in with some powder. Probably just wasted a bunch of product just there, but we're gonna ignore that. I don't really like to bake. I don't find it necessary. I just press the powder into my skin. I love me a bright under eye, so I use another pressed powder, but at a very light color, and I put that under my eye. Now the part that's really gonna sculpt your face is some bronzer, and you're gonna put it on all the parts where you contoured your face. I also like doing like a little 3, and then I go over my contour with the same bronzer as well and bring it up to my brow. And because I'm just a girl, we're gonna use some blush. Everything is done. We're just gonna go in with some setting spray and let that settle into your skin. Now you can go in and do your favorite lip combo. Look at how I look. You guys see how simple that was? You have no excuses this year. Zero. Nada. There's no reason you shouldn't be looking like a baddie in 2024 after I just gave you this tutorial. Practice, learn, make mistakes. Makeup is a learning process. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.
If you're a dumb idiot when it comes to makeup, keep on watching because I'm gonna explain it all for you right now. I'm about to give you guys all of the tips and tricks that I use on a daily basis when I do my makeup, so keep on watching. Make sure to moisturize your face before doing your makeup. It makes the world of a difference and it makes all of your makeup go on so much easier. I like to start off with my eyebrows because I use a eyebrow gel like this. This is called the e.l.f. Brow Lift. I use the brow brush first, dip into the product, and I coat my brows upward. If you have stubborn eyebrows, you can go back and forth with the product. And then you will go back and you will put the brows into place. If you guys don't know what primer is, primer basically is something you're gonna put on before you put on foundation. If I was going to use a primer, it would be to fill in my pores. So I use this one. This is by Glam. This is the Birthday Skin Primer. You're just gonna work it into your skin, kind of like it's a lotion. I put way too much. So in the summertime, I don't really like using foundations. I like using tinted moisturizers. I'm gonna use the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer today. I like blending in my tinted moisturizers with my fingers, but you can use a beauty sponge. You want to make sure not to bring your foundation or tinted moisturizer underneath your eye. The less makeup that's underneath your eyes, the better, because you do not want your under eyes looking cakey. Okay, so now that it's mostly blended in, I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender. Don't forget to bring it down your neck. You never want to be caught dead with that harsh line of foundation. Now there's 2 types of concealer that I want to explain to you. There's more of a lightweight concealer, and then there's more of a thicker, heavier concealer. Lightweight concealer I like to use for underneath my eyes. Heavier concealer I like to use for concealing things like pimples, scars, things like that. For a heavier concealer, honestly, there's nothing better than the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. How I like using this concealer is taking a concealer brush, something like this, and you're gonna dip into the pot, and you're gonna just apply it on any blemishes or dark spots that you have. I also like using this concealer on my nose because my nose gets really red around the corners. We're gonna let this sit. The longer you're gonna let your concealer sit like this, the more coverage it's going to give you. Now, for under eyes, this is the best concealer ever. I recommend it to everyone. The Bare Minerals Original Liquid Mineral Concealer. I like having concealer that is more close to my skin tone. I just like the way it looks better, but you totally can get a concealer in a few shades lighter to brighten up your face. So now we're gonna let this sit. We're gonna go back to the NARS concealer now, and we're gonna just blend it in with our finger, simply tapping on top and making sure it's all blended in. And after I blend it out with my finger, I like to go back over with the sponge just to make sure everything's blended in seamlessly. For the concealer under the eyes, I like to use a brush. This is a new thing I've liked to do. The concealer I like to use is more of an orangey tone. Orange and blue are opposite on the color wheel, so if you're gonna use like an orangey toned concealer, it's gonna cancel out the dark circles. You can go back in with your sponge if you want, just to pick up any extra product. Okay, now for contour, we're gonna go in with the Patrick Ta contour, and I'm gonna take it on a brush like this, kind of a smaller brush so you get more precise. Not going to place your contour underneath your cheekbone. That is going to drag your face down. You are going to place your contour on top of your cheekbone, like so. I like applying my contour in a dabbing motion. You're never just gonna swipe it on. And once you do your makeup for a long time, you're gonna start to just learn your face and learn where you're gonna place all these products. But it is kind of challenging to figure out where to place it in the beginning. If you wanna make your forehead appear smaller, you're gonna take your contour and you're going to place it on the top. This is going to reduce that appearance of your 5 head. If you would like to do your jawline, please be careful and make sure to blend it. See where that natural shadow is? That's what you're gonna enhance. I also like bringing it up and connecting it. See the difference? Now, nose contour is kind of challenging to figure out. Everyone is going to contour their nose differently for what they need. I like my nose to look as small as possible. I like to look like I cannot breathe. So what I'm going to do, take my contour shade, and I'm going to first apply it at the bottom. This is going to make my nose look more lifted. Now I'm going to take it and go up kind of into my eyebrow. I feel like this just makes my nose look more small throughout the bridge. I honestly just put 2 little dabs of product and then 1 across, and that's what I do for my nose contour. See how I kind of look like a deer? That's what I want to look like. Now we're gonna blend it in. I like to go in with a bigger brush. We're gonna go in and we're just gonna dab. Lightly dab in, and if you have a good product, it will blend. We are dabbing. We are not dragging. Dragging, no good. You also want to make sure to keep your product in the place you placed it. You don't want to be swiping all over and it's gonna move the contour around and then you're gonna end up making your face look all long. Not cute. For nose contour, I like taking my beauty blender and I just go over everything and it kind of just automatically blends it for you. Okay, next we have blush. You can use cream or liquid blush, whatever you choose. This is my new favorite blush. This is by Say Beauty. This is the shade Chili. If you want the lifted effect, you're going to apply your blush on the high points of your cheek. Also apply a little dab of blush on the part of my nose that I contoured. I just think it looks really cute. With blush, I like using a brush over my sponge because the sponge picks up a lot of the product and I just dab it in place. Once again, with the dabbing. Also, if you guys don't know, blush is the first thing to fade on your face. Blush just fades really fast. So that's why I like to put a little bit more blush on because I know it will fade by the end of my makeup. Okay, next is highlighter. I love using liquid highlighter. It's just my favorite thing ever. This is the best liquid highlighter I have ever used in my life. It's by Rare Beauty in the shade Flaunt. I put it on the tip of my nose and then I'll just do like 2 dots on the high point of my cheek. I blend this in with my finger and I'll just dab it and I bring it underneath my eyebrow. Okay, next we have powder. I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury powder today. Before you put your powder under your eyes, you want to make sure there are no creases. I like to just dab underneath my eyes to make sure I'm not creased under there. And then you're just going to dab. Do you see already how much more blurred that looks? I used to be scared of powder. I used to be scared, oh my god, I'm gonna look cakey. It's gonna look bad. No, powder fixes everything. So if you have any type of texture, you just put your powder right on it, boom, blurred, gone. Now something that really helps minimize the look of powder is setting spray. I like to take my setting spray and I like to spray my face in between every powder step or every other powder step. It just melts all the products together. Let it marinate now. This is a good time to clean off your lips from all of the gross powder and stuff. So after I just sprayed my face, I let it dry and now I'm gonna curl my eyelashes for the first time in this routine. Okay, after we curled, put that away for now. We're gonna go in with powder bronzer and powder blush. For powder bronzer, this is Physicians Formula. We're going in and we're just gonna enhance where we put the contour earlier. And honestly, with powder bronzer, I go in with a fluffy brush that you would use for eyeshadow, and I just put it in my crease just to warm up everything and to tie the colors in. I also put a little bit underneath my eyes. Time for blush. I just go like this. I don't pick a color. I like all the colors, and I just apply it on the high points of my cheeks just to accentuate what we put on before. We're gonna curl our eyelashes again before we put on our mascara. By the way, this is the best eyelash curler I've ever used. This is by Tweezerman. Now you're also probably wondering if we're ever gonna do anything with our eyebrows again. I would recommend doing your eyebrows again after you put on powder, so your powder doesn't get in your eyebrows. I like doing it before I do my mascara. I use this little pen. I just line the bottom of my eyebrow and fill in any sparse areas. Okay, now time for mascara. If you want your eyelashes to stay up all day, waterproof mascara is the way to go, but I hate taking off waterproof mascara, so I use regular. This is the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. Best mascara ever. I love it so much. Honestly, drugstore mascaras are better than high-end mascaras, and they're way more affordable. Don't buy an expensive mascara. You don't need it. I like focusing my mascara on the outer corners of my eyes because it makes my face look elongated. It's okay if you get it on your eyelid like I just did. I'll show you how to take that off. Okay, our mascara is dried, and now it's time to take off the stuff that's got on our eyelid. You can either go in with a spoolie brush or Q-tips. I'm gonna show you both ways. So you take a spoolie brush like this and you're just gonna simply scratch it off. Once it's dry, it should just flake right off. Or you can use a Q-tip. I like using a Q-tip if I don't have any eyeshadow on because it's just easier. If you have eyeshadow on though, definitely use the spoolie trick. Okay, time for lips. We're going in with our lip liner first. This is by NYX in the shade Peekaboo Neutral. I need a new one, clearly. I don't line the corners. I feel like it makes my mouth look too long. I like lining just the top. If you want to overline a little bit, that's perfectly fine. See how that already just made my lips look like a Bratz doll? I love the way that looks. And then I go for the bottom. I just put a little bit in the middle. And then you can fill in a little bit if you want. Now, if you want a little bit of shine, this is a lip oil. This is by Sigma. I love it so much. I just put it on and it kind of blends the lip liner for you. Look how cute and juicy our lips look now. Okay, now if you haven't noticed, our eyelashes have fallen. So we're gonna go in and just curl. Apparently you're not supposed to do this. I've always done it. If your eyelashes fall out, don't blame me. And there we go. This is how I get the basic look. It's a lot of steps to look this good, isn't it? Ew, why did I just sound like that? Now you can go in one more time with your setting spray. Remember to comment below if you guys want me to do a drugstore or a high-end version of this. If you guys want more in-depth of either each step or in-depth of each product, let me know, okay? I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one.
So I'm black, I know, you hardly noticed. And I have dark skin. My whole face is hardly ever one color. A little bit darker around my mouth area, darker around the perimeter, slightly darker under my eyes, totally normal. Something that's always kind of kept me from doing them 5-minute makeup looks is that I can't just throw in a tinted moisturizer and make it look good. Like, I have to color correct, I have to do this, I have to do that. Then I realized there's products that are minimal and clean that correct and make my complexion look good without looking like I'm wearing a full face of glam. I'm a full glam girl through and through. But every glam girl also needs to know how to do a 5-minute face. I'm gonna start off with a little bit of the Say Beauty Super Glow Gel, like a little glowy primer. It's so pretty. I mainly apply this in the center of my face and in my forehead. Next, you'll usually see someone apply a tinted moisturizer, right? But we black. Like, my face isn't on one color. It doesn't quite work that way. Get you one of these, a double-ended color correcting and concealing stick. This is the best part of this routine. This is from Laura Mercier. There's one end that corrects. I'm gonna apply it here, the mustache 2-for-1, and you really don't have to apply a lot. It looks like I'm wearing a lot, but I promise you I'm not. And a little bit under my eye. Blend it out with your fingers or brush. Now I have an even base to do the rest. I'm gonna add a tinted moisturizer. I have oily skin, so I tend to skip my forehead, take whatever's left over and just kind of go over it. The center of your face is where you want the most coverage. I say that loosely. So blend it out here and then start to lighten your hand the closer to the perimeter of your forehead you get. So it doesn't actually look like you're wearing makeup, even though you very much are. This is definitely not the look for people who are afraid of looking shiny. I'm sorry, a 5-minute face is not gonna be matte, and somebody needs to hear this. Now, if I wanna conceal, I can, but I like it as is. I love this cream bronzer. It's from Danessa Myricks, and we just wanna look sun-kissed. I'm cleaning up my brows with the Refi Brow Gel. This blush from Say Beauty. It's in the shade Glow Sculpt. Do you see what, do you see how I just changed history? Wake up. Like, it looks sunburned. It was a lot, but I love this color. It's a highlight and a blush in one. A little bit of mascara, just enough to let the girls know, yes, I'm awake. Yes, I hear you talking over there. And my favorite part of this look is the lips. You don't even need a liner. This is actually from the Sephora collection in the shade Confidence. If you're feeling really insecure about the shine, you can always blot. I personally don't usually do this. I don't really mind looking shiny because I'm 36 and Exactly. You don't know what I just, if you know, you know. And you can always add a light layer of translucent powder. That's it. That's how I get ready in 5 minutes. And you didn't have to put on layers and layers and layers of makeup to make your complexion all one color. See y'all next time. Bye.
This is my beginner-friendly guide to a natural full beat using just Drugstore makeup. Your makeup is not going to look as good without good skin prep. I like using the Bioma Milky Toner, perfect first layer of hydration. Also going in with the e.l.f. Thirst Burst Drops. These two products together for skin prep always gives me the most flawless makeup. Obviously, use whatever works best based on your skin type, but never skip skin prep. If you want your makeup to last all day, use a gripping primer. This is the NYX face glue. It's easy to blend out, but it also gives you a really good amount of tackiness. We want our makeup to stick well to our face, and you can tell that it will. This is the Maybelline 30 Hour Lumi Matte Foundation. This is amazing. I think it'll suit most skin types. Don't necessarily need that much because it'll look cakey. I'm using this e.l.f. blending brush, and we're doing a combination of swiping just to get the product to move around and also tapping. You don't want to just swipe though, because you will probably get streaks in your foundation. I'm going to be taking a little bit of the NYX Bare With Me concealer, placing this where I want. I'm going to be taking a dry beauty blender for this part. You want to tap to keep the coverage. Using a dry beauty blender is my preference. A wet beauty blender I find mixes with the formula, can make your foundation and your concealer separate a little bit. Always do all your cream products before you move on to powder. We're going in with cream bronzer. This is the Physicians Formula Glow to Go Stick, creamiest product ever. This is the e.l.f. bronzing brush. I'm just tapping out my product, not swiping again. We're gonna go in with the blush as well. I haven't found any issues with it moving the product underneath when I swipe it on. You can also build this blush and bronzer up to the intensity that you want. Okay, now we have all of our cream products down. We can finally go in with powder. This is the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Before we set our under eyes, just tapping our under eye concealer out just in case we have any creases and we don't want to set creases. I always like to go in with a powder puff. I like to take the powder and tap it on the back of my hand to press it in. The Maybelline Fit Me powder does run a little bit dark, I will say, so just be careful. This is in the shade Fairlight, and you can tell it has a deeper and more warm undertone, but this is probably the best drugstore powder I have found. I like to use this to set the rest of my face too a little bit, so around my T-zone and my mouth area. You don't need to do this if you have dry skin because it can emphasize that. Setting your under eyes will make your concealer last 10 times longer. Moving on to powder bronzer, this is the NYX Buttermelt bronzer. It is pretty pigmented, but if you go in with light hand, it is the most stunning bronzer ever. And this brush is just from Amazon. It's from the brand Mange. You want to just keep blending this in. You can do slightly tapping and a mixture of swiping motion. I like to put a little bit of it in my crease and under my brow bone as well. Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. Look how gorgeous that is. Again, this is pigmented. Just go in with a light hand. Gives you the most pretty sheen and little pop of color. I'm someone who likes to blend my blush slightly into my under eyes to kind of seamlessly blend them all together. Never like to skip highlighter. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighter. I like to focus this in the middle of my face, so my nose, also my inner corners. You can just tell how much brighter the middle of my face is. For brows, I'm using the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. I'm just filling them in, kind of just outlining the shape of my brows and where I want them to be, focusing the darkness mainly on the outer half of my brows. I always like to draw a little bit and then spoolie and then keep going. Obviously, I wear fake lashes, but you can just go in with mascara. I like the L'Oreal Lash Paradise in Waterproof. I'm going to be taking a dark eyeshadow, so either black or brown. What I'm just going to do is do a little flick right at the edge of my eye and just connect it a little bit into the inner part of my eye, just about halfway. Just doing a little bit of a flick, connecting it to the middle of my eye. So quick, so easy, makes the biggest difference. I just use a little angled brush. Moving on to lips, my trusty combo will always be a lip liner and a lip gloss. This is the Maybelline Lifter Liner. I kind of just like to follow my natural shape, but slightly overline my cupid's bow. Topping it with this Essence lip oil. I love having a shiny lip. I feel like it makes everything look more put together. Last but not least, setting spray. This is the L'Oreal 3-Second Setting Mist, and it is hairspray for your face, but it keeps your makeup on all day, all night. That is my step-by-step beginner makeup look using just drugstore products. I love doing a natural full beat all the time, and hopefully with this tutorial, some of you can too. Bye, guys.
You Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. All credit goes to the original creators. See you in the next one.